Hello, fellow viewers. This is the Comic Nerd here. Today, I'm not having an intro. The only reason why, because you probably already saw a trailer for this, X-Men Apocalypse. No, let me share my opinion. It wasn't a bad movie. It actually was really good. I really did like the characters, especially like Quicksilver, Magneto, Xavier was really good. Apocalypse was a really cool character. He was really powerful. And to be honest, this movie is more violent than Deadpool. Because in Deadpool, there's a few gory scenes. In the beginning, two guys get melted, one guy gets burned, and another guy gets his body contorted into a ball. That's brutal. Oh, plus one guy gets crushed. And you hear the crunching noises. It's just, ugh. But yeah, X-Men Apocalypse is a really good movie. I really did like the cameo. They can't call it a cameo, but with Wolverine in it. That was something I really wasn't expecting. I was expecting they were going to make a sniffing noise and see like some footsteps and hear some claw noises. Nope, he was full on in there. You might be asking, why was he crazy and had the little helmet thing? Well, because in the comics, while they were experimenting on him, they gave him a device that made him just go on a killing spree. That device he was wearing made him go crazy. So when Jean Grey got into his mind and made him stop trying to murder everyone, she gave him back his old memories that he forgot while being experimented on. And what do you think those old memories are? I would say that was his childhood or his origin, or at least maybe something related to his past, like his girlfriends who all died. That's kind of mean. So let's talk about the story. So in the beginning of the movie, it starts off with Apocalypse. Like a million years ago, around the Egypt times, or I don't know what you're going to call it, they're making Apocalypse is a very old man, a very old mutant, and he needs new powers. So he finds one mutant that can regenerate, so they transfer bodies by using this weird pyramid light power. And after that, the people that worked for him betrayed him and made the pyramid fall deep into the ground. While that, he was done transferring. So while he was done transferring his spirit into that new regenerative body, he survived all those years since the regeneration. And one of his four horsemen had a force field while they were being crushed, and they died. But at least the force field kept a wall around him. So years later, there was a girl. Xavier, that was Xavier's girlfriend. Years ago, was studying the people who thought he was the real God, or something like a god, basically. So she found the place where it's located at. It was down a hole, and the only way the place could be powered was by light. They never knew that. So by mistake, while the place is in a hole, there was a sun reflection. She went under there without covering back the hole. So she left there for a long time to power up and bring him back up. The pyramid rose back up, and he woke back up, and he was angry. Not really angry, but so basically after that he left and met a girl named Storm who almost was about to get beat up. He defeated the guy for her, and when he went to her house, he just touched the TV and got all the memories of what's been happening to humans, and he said that the weaklings have taken over the world. Or basically that he was talking about there's false gods and all this stuff, and he was angry. So another thing that happened was a kid named Scott Summers found out his ability, went to the X-Men high school, not high school, but just a school for the gifted. You can also live there. I think it's elementary, middle school, high school, and college all together. So some people live there. I think they all live there. I think some don't either. But yeah, so he goes there. He meets a girl named Jean Grey that gets into his mind and is kind of mean to her at first, which is kind of Bo. So after that, Dr. Xavier wants to. So after that, we show a few more moments of one scene with Nightcrawler and fighting Angel. This is one thing I don't get about Nightcrawler in this movie. He looks like a girl. At first, I thought he was a girl. Please don't make him have that hairstyle again. He looked like a goth girl. Don't ever do that again. I like the original X-Men Nightcrawler. Don't do that hairstyle again. It was just weird. Everybody was like, is he a girl? I'm confused. But yeah, so after that, it turns out that Angel, who's a mutant, which is dead in this universe since they were booted in Dave Fisher's past. He used to be part of the X-Men, but I guess in this part, he came from Dark Past, where he was a fighting arena for mutants. Nightcrawler gets into there. He fights for a little bit, damage one of his wings with electricity. Like, it's like electricity ring. You gotta watch the movie, you understand. And Mystique comes out and saves him. So after they break out, Mystique takes him back to the school for Xavier School for the Gifted to meet them back there. They talk for a while. He's now he's a new student. He talks to Cyclops. They become friends. They see some movies since he's not really popular or knows about the pop culture lately. He doesn't know about pop culture like that. So while that, Xavier's girlfriend he used to date. Since in the last movie, not in the last movie, but I think in First Class, he erased her memory. And so she doesn't remember him. So he goes back to talk to her and kind of stutters like he remembers her. So they want to talk about the stuff that happened in Egypt and Apocalypse and how he came up. They talk about it for a little. They go back to the School for the Gifted. And now they're in his this room. It's like a little thingy, it's like a helmet, so he can read anyone's mind in the world, which is crazy. Okay, I should make sure we're still recording. But yeah, so he reads people's minds. He finds Apocalypse, he's choosing all these right people. When he finds a girl, he finds Storm, Angel, makes him Archangel with metal wings. There's a girl named Psylocke. And now he's got to find Magneto, and then he found Magneto. If you don't know, Magneto had a family now after the 10 years after what happened to his past. He had a family, he had a daughter who controlled animals. And the police found, and one day while he was working at the shop he worked at, the bucket almost felt they have these huge buckets of lava of it, they're mining or filling up stuff. The bucket almost fell on the guy, and Magneto saved the guy's life. And everyone realized he was a mutant. So after they found out he was a mutant, yikes. The police found out. They brought bow and arrows to his house. And by mistake, the little girl, since the police found out that he was technically a criminal, he was about to go to jail. His daughter got all scared. All the birds started going crazy, and by mistake, he shot the bow and arrow while Magneto's wife and daughter were hugging. It shot both of them, which is kind of weird since I thought it would just hit the little girl and the wife would just leave Magneto or something. I would expect that to happen more, but why didn't they have plastic bullets like in Days of Past? I mean, I understand that will place a high prison facility, but really, bow and arrows? At least a crossbow or something. I say a crossbow, but still, I don't bow and arrows have the metal on the tip of it. The tip of bow and arrows have metal on it. So whatever. After that, he killed. It was a really cool scene where since his daughter had a necklace of his parents, his necklace just slit all the guys' throats, which is probably one of the most coolest scenes in the movie. Now there are some cool scenes in the movie, but that's just one of the best. After that, the Apocalypse meets him up, makes him feel his pain. He goes back to the place where he was at a concentration camp, and he just pulls out all the metal out the ground and just goes crazy. So while they're at Magneto's room, not Magneto's, but Xavier's room, reading all the people's memories, they find Apocalypse. Apocalypse controls Xavier's mind and makes Xavier, but it makes Xavier control some people who own a submarine, and they shoot out all the nukes in the whole and basically the whole entire world. The whole entire world, all the nukes are gone. They're in space, so no more nuclear weapons for I guess that time. So while that's happening, they teleport there, and all the Horsemen teleport there. So if you don't know, Cyclops had a brother. I forgot what his name was, but he shoots lasers. He shot a laser out, and it shot Blue Beast Blue Beast's ship and explodes, killing him. But it turns out Quicksilver comes just in time to save everyone. So after that, he saves everyone, but except not Cyclops' brother, since he was already in an explosion that killed him instantly. So while the rest of the mutants were there, a guy came back from Dangerous Past who was the sergeant that kidnapped Wolverine. He was bad. He kidnapped some important mutants like Mystique. Xavier was already was taken by Apocalypse, so it was Mystique, Blue Beast, Nightcrawler. I think not Nightcrawler. I didn't kidnap him. Mystique. Who else? Quicksilver and Blue Beast, and they were all captured. So Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler gets on the ship without them noticing, and they're flying off to the X Project, or where Wolverine was experimented on. So they're all trapped in a room. The sergeant is interrogating them. The guy who kidnapped Wolverine in his past. You know, I'm talking about the sergeant who did the experiments on Wolverine. So while they're experimenting there, Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler, the teens, find out something very important. Wolverine's there. And he is mad like crazy. Because, like, he's been tortured. His head's been messed up a little. So he's going on a killing spree. It is really violent. Now, there's blood. One guy gets his face stabbed to pieces. It is super gory and probably more than Deadpool. Because there was so much blood in that scene. So after that, like I said, Jean Grey gets into his mind. Takes off the equipment that makes him go all crazy. Gives him back some old memories. And he just walks off. This is probably a secret to the Wolverine, because in the Wolverine movie, he was in a snowy forest. So this is maybe like before the Wolverine happened, because at the end of it, he just walks off, never comes back at the end of the movie. So after that, the big battle's about to happen. They find a ship there, they find some costumes, just like black X-Men costumes, and they're ready to fight. So they meet Apocalypse, beat up some of the Horsemen. Apocalypse ready to go down. He's about to transfer Xavier's body to his so he can control everybody. But Nightcrawler saves him. They fight for a while. Quicksilver goes off on him. They fight for some more. Magneto sees all his partners getting hurt, so he snaps out of it. Takes him down with all his metal in his body. And not Jean Grey, but Xavier, they fighting, and him and Apocalypse are fighting mind to mind, like inside of each other's mind, and they're just going at it. Apocalypse grows big and it just holds him down on the ground. Sorry. Jean Grey comes into his mind, fights for a while, and then becomes the Dark Phoenix. That happened in X-Men 3, which is something pretty big and so cool. She becomes a Dark Phoenix. It's like this giant bird made of fire. It is so gory what happens to Apocalypse. His face just burns off. He becomes a skeleton. You see his flesh. It's just like some of it's growing. Like at first, like when you see Dark Phoenix, some of his face burns, but it's still growing back. And then when she like starts screaming like crazy, his whole face burns off, killing him. Magneto's back. Psylocke leaves. Archangel's dead because one scene they were on a plane. They were on the plane they were fighting on with Xavier's girlfriend. Xavier's old girlfriend who erased her memories. So at the end of the movie he gave her back her memories, but not to bother about that. So while they were in the plane flying up and they were going down, Nightcrawler teleported everyone out and he was energized out. Except Archangel, since he was just like killing him. The little purple girl with the sword, she's just like hanging on. She jumped off and was just sliding on the wall with a sword, like trying to catch her fall while sliding closely. While like I don't know what it's called, but like she's like dragging the sword onto the ground, not onto the ground, but like on the side of the wall, like just sliding, which is really cool. So after that, the X-Men are back. The school gets rebuilt by Jean Grey, Magneto, and Xavier. Magneto goes hide somewhere else since his family got killed. He really got nowhere else to go. And the end credits scene, it's pretty weird. So basically, in the end credits scene, they have the Weapon X project, and they have a suitcase which I forgot what it said. It said I think it said Essex or something like that, corporation, which is, I think, a reference to Wolverine 3, which I'm not really sure, but I know the weapon experiment thing, the weapon experiment needle, has something to do with Wolverine 3. I can already tell you it does. Now, I'm really excited to see how Wolverine 3 is going to end, because mostly, I love the Wolverine. Except the Silver Samurai part. I really didn't like him in the movie. But it was still pretty cool. But the Wolverine was a really good movie. I really did like it. I mean, it just told more of his story, which is, like, really cool. Wolverine Origins. We don't talk about that. But at the end of the movie, Xavier becomes bald after having that major fight and transforming bodies. Apocalypse is dead. Some of the Horsemen are now part of his team since they're out of mind control. Quicksilver doesn't tell Magneto that he's his father. He's eventually going to do it, but never does right now. Mystique, I think, is still part of the X-Men right now. Xavier's new girlfriend gets her memories back, and they're going back, and they're loving each other again, and they're dating again. But yeah, I just really did like the movie. I like seeing when Quicksilver was getting everyone at the house. It was really funny. That one scene where he was just going, punching off Apocalypse like crazy, which is really cool too. I really did love that too. So yeah. There's a lot of funny scenes, like that one part where he was talking to all the people, like one part where Magneto was like, so the people he worked with told the police that he was a mutant, so he went back there and talked to them about how they have family members, and they're gonna feel the same pain like he did when he lost his family members. So he's about to kill everyone in there, but then Apocalypse and some of his horsemen come out, and he says, "Who the F are you?" It's out of nowhere, and it's pretty funny. I didn't curse about it. I don't curse like that. I really don't. I don't know why. It doesn't appeal to me like that. But yeah, it was a really good movie. And after that, Apocalypse just like sinks the guys to the ground. They just stay. It's a really cool power he does. Like, I don't know what he does, but like he makes your body just like fade into the ground and then unfade. So like it's something like the Vision and Martian Manhunter have. Both of them have the exact same power, which is still really cool. But like unfades, so like half their body is like poke out their arms or legs, or maybe their faces, but they're still kind of dead since maybe they suffocated or like half their body's stuck in there, and I guess they could have died. Well, if their face is out, maybe they can be alive, or maybe it's like the concrete just like sucks in their whole entire body, and like they're attached to it. Like, one part of the guy was, like, mixed with sand. Like, half his body was part sand now after that. But he was still dead, I think. But, yeah. I really did like the scene with Wolverine, which was really cool. A really cool hint to Wolverine 3. It might bring that scene back up. So, you might be asking, why is Wolverine the exact same guy? He doesn't age. Yeah. I'm just going to tell you that. He doesn't age. Okay? Yeah. I understand it's weird, but Wolverine doesn't age. Yes. Well, he does age, but age slowly. If you read the Old Man Logan cartoon, not cartoon, but comic, I'm sorry, he was born around the French Revolution, or I think a little bit farther. Around where blacks weren't allowed to vote, or allowed to be citizens. Around when slavery was still a thing. So, yeah. I guess you get back his part of his childhood. But that's why Wolverine aged slowly, since he was back there where blacks were still slaves, I think, or around the time of the French Revolution. But that's really all I gotta talk about. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.